This is Fraud to Fearless.
Friends, you are made for more purpose, more confidence, more impact. Because when you live fearless, you inspire others to do the same.
Let's go. Okay, I'm recording. Hayden's getting water, and I know he can hear me right now, but you guys, we're coming in hot. It's evening time. Hayden's giving me some beef because I'm the bottleneck in our podcast recording, and it's true. He can call me out on that. I was like, look, I've been at a soccer game today. We just came up with the new podcast intro today. Lots of stuff. All right. I'm also running off little sleep. Like, I need some TLC. So I threw on some stuff. I thought putting this gold necklace like dresses it up, right? This is kind of more on Brooke brand. Hayden says I look like a skater. Like, I have never been referred to as a skater in my life. So I'm going to go change. I keep getting text messages from Hayden saying don't, and I'll have to do this on my own, but I just can't handle it. How do I pause this without stopping it?
Too late. Too late.
No.
I'm literally wearing my Baker Mayfield OU jersey. Undefeated. Number 11 in the country, bound to be top 10 elite. If you want to see what a true defense looks like, watch OU. And I'm excited about this season. Brooke and I are coming at you cash on a late Saturday night.
It's fine. Whatever. I mean, part of this podcast, Hayden, is about being vulnerable and showing up authentically. So we're just embracing that today. And so without further ado, let's jump right in. This whole mini series is on Start Living Now. Okay, we've gone over a couple things. Wake up to your life. What do you really want? Today, we're going to talk about something that's so important, so prevalent, the thing that actually makes our life so full and rich, and that is relationships. If you haven't seen our new intro, our new tagline is imposter to empowered. Yes, imposter to empowered in work, life, and relationships. So we haven't talked that much about relationships in general. Our connections with people, whether that's in work or in our families, with our kids, all the things. We want to dive into that. What does it look like to start living now in relationships?
This is going to be great. I just feel like, Brooke, relationships are so dynamic, and we've known each other for how many years now? And so it's going to be great to unpack like all of the experiences and the memories. And I also have been reflecting a lot on relationships. Look, I married someone who's also in HR, so we talk shop at night.
Power couple.
And
literally power couple.
Can read people, and it's amazing. But we reflect and play Q&A for fun. Like, that's our hobby, is playing Q&A as a marriage. And we have a really exciting Fraud to Fearless product coming out. If you really struggle with Q&A and asking questions, Brooke and I have a really great idea in the hopper that I can't wait to jump on. I just,
quit teasing them, Hayden. Quit teasing them. But they are going to love it.
They're going to love it. Yeah. But if you struggle with that, we have something coming. But no, I think relationships are super dynamic, Brooke. And I think we both are in very interesting, if again, as part of this mini series earlier, we talked about illustrating your life on a grid, right? And so we looked at like 1 to 90 and wherever you were at. But if your life was a book, the chapter, Brooke, that you and I are both in is super dynamic from relationships, right? Like, so y'all, if you have an iPhone, there's certain chats you can pin. I have 5 There are 5 text messages that are pinned on my phone right now,
Ooh.
and Brooke's one of them.
Okay, I was gonna
And
say I better be freaking one of them.
well,
Otherwise, we have
you've been,
problems.
ever since we started this, you've been pinned for me. I had to wait till forever for you to pin me. So it's like, whatever. We can unpack that relationship dynamic later. Um, but and Brooke's phone is like from the Flintstones era, y'all. Like she just
No,
barely
it's
bought a new
not.
phone. It's old, Brooke. Like
It's old.
it
It needs
is
some help.
holding back this pod because we can't talk.
Yes, Hayden has some beef with this situation, but yes, go on.
But but I mean, I think, look, you're single mom, single parent of 2 kids. But me, I mean, married, uh, dual income household. We just had our first kiddo. She's almost 6 months. Can you believe it, Brooke? You haven't met her yet. She's 6 months. We're
So
coming to
crazy.
Utah again in 2 weeks. The agenda's still in process, but OBS is coming to Utah and
Maybe
out.
we should throw a Fraud to Fearless meetup. If you're in Utah, sorry, Charlotte people, you guys need to move here, but maybe we could throw a meetup. Meet Hayden in person. Get
Yeah,
some
maybe.
signatures.
I love it. But I think relationships are super dynamic. And I also think that everyone is probably not satisfied with this area of their life. Whether it's you're single and you're looking for more, whether it's you're married and you have kids, but you don't really have friends, or you have friends, maybe your spouse doesn't have friends, or you don't have couple friends you can hang out with. Relationships, it's a living organism. It's an ecosystem. It's alive. It's dynamic. It's ever changing. And it's a moving target. And I think that is why we wanted to talk about this, because part of Start Living Now, I think, Brooke, when I think about Start Living Now, I think it's me. I think of there's a decision I as an individual have to make
Hmm.
to start living now, but that's not fully it. That's not the full scale of what we're doing here. It's also about the people in your life and the relationships in your life. And that's why I think tonight's topic is going to be great.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to unpack this, and I think we'll have multiple episodes over the course of season 2. But I think opening Hayden, man, I think I'm going to get vulnerable right off the bat. So,
Love it.
uh, about a year ago, I got a text message from my group family chat, and um, we had news that my cousin Landon had passed.
Wow.
And it hit us like it was completely out of the blue. He was so young. His birthday was coming up in a couple days, and we just, I could not even process. Everything starts going through my mind, right? Like, when was the last time that I talked to him, and what did I say? And like, did I reach out enough? Did he know that I really cared? And it really had me take this step back and think about not just that relationship with him, but in all my relationships. Like, am I actually showing up in the way that I want to show up in my relationships? Like, I, it's not that I don't care about people, but I get so busy. I get so focused on like my life, my day to day, like you were saying, right? We think about us and what we have to do and all of the checklist items. And I started thinking about the people that I love, like in school, in all different areas of my life. Like when I went and played college soccer, when I, grad school, like there are so many people in different areas of my life that I love so much. And I have not talked to them for so long. And like, why? I just felt this immense guilt. So realizing, man, I kind of need a gut check on these relationships. And it made me realize, why am I having this gut check now once something devastating has happened? Like, why am I not reviewing this or thinking about this at other times? So,
Were you close?
you know, they came like almost, I can't remember when they started coming for Christmas, but they lived in East Coast and they'd come and visit us every year for Christmas. We'd see them at least once a year, but like close, I don't know. I wish that we were closer. I wish
Yeah.
that we were closer, but that loss still felt so devastating. Like I didn't do my part to build the relationship how I wanted to.
Hey, y'all, real quick. If you know of someone that would benefit from this message that you're hearing today, take a minute and send it to them. So often we think of somebody, we miss someone, we're impressed by someone, maybe we even love somebody, and we don't tell them. Let's not fall under that trap. Let's hold each other accountable, take a few moments, and send this episode to someone that would benefit. Let's do it, and let's do it fearlessly. All right, back to the pod. Yeah. That's great. Thank you for sharing. I didn't know that. Um, yeah, that's real life, right? And I think the hard thing is sometimes we don't realize how great something is until we lose it. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's part of being a human and that's part of life. And sometimes we don't understand that we're in the best days of our life until they're gone, which is super unfortunate. And, or that we miss somebody that, we really love and we only had a limited number of days. And that's why I think that that chart that we started off with, the 1 through 90, just like we only have a limited amount of time here, or the people around you only have a limited number of time here and we only have so much. I think that's just a great story.
All right. So, Hayden, I know this is kind of like this can be a heavy topic, but it's almost like a wake up call, right? So what I wanted to explore is, what do you think living now means in the context of relationships? Like
Yeah.
specifically, uh, I'm thinking going through the motions with the people in our life versus an intentional presence, like actually showing up in relationships.
This is like what I reflect on every day. So just like real quick, kind of like sub bullet before I get into this, like honestly, Brooke, like even you and me, I'm not satisfied. I wish we had more time together. I wish I saw you more. I just went to Utah and we got to spend some QT together in person, kind of being tech support folks at some, you know,
Yeah, that was
entrepreneur
intense.
place. But it's like, I wish you were down the street and we could record in person, but like it's not, but we make it work, So, but Allie and I, we think about this a lot. We reflect on this a lot. And it's perfect that you asked this because I was literally, thinking about this and have a kind of a segue. But to answer your question, I have a powerful story so when Aubrey was first born, um, I think we had like our house was, uh, we called it a quad B: bed,
Quad B.
breakfast, beverage, and baby. Okay. So it's like not just a B and B, it was a B and B and B and B. So our house, you got a bed, I made breakfast, I made beverages, and you got to hang with the baby. It's exhausting. Like, bless our family. We love them so much. It was so great for them to see OBS and for us to see them, like all that. Great. Awesome. But me and Al are also evolving to the next phase of our marriage and our family. And there was a moment when we had a really great heart to heart. And Allie just hit me with some wisdom that was just like, it's very important to me to be a good host. So when people come to our house, you eat for free, you drink for free, you eat and drink as much as you want. We'll never run out. And it's all good. I just want you to be you. And like, I'm going to celebrate you 100%. I just
Yeah,
want,
you're good at like really developing not only the space, but just like creating the environment for good relationship building with friends.
I don't just want to have a good Saturday night. If people come to my house, I want it to be the best Saturday night of your life. Like, so that's kind of my bar when I host. And it stayed the same early on after we had Aubrey. And there was a moment when me and Allie were kind of reflecting on hosting, and she said, "You know what?" And like she got emotional, and she said, "You know, babe, like to be completely honest, I'm just trying to learn right now how to be a mom and a wife, and everything else is extra." And I
Oh,
was like, "Wow." And I was
yes,
like, that
queen.
was just like I lost track of, oh, we're learning right now. We're in a let's learn to be parents, let's learn to be married with a kid, then let's learn to be awesome hosts while we're married with a kid. And I just think that
Mm,
that evolution was, it just clicked in my mind when I heard her say it that way. And so I think the takeaway for me is, again, like when like a little bit ago, I mentioned that relationships are moving targets and people change. People
yeah.
get
Oh,
married,
this
they
is
have
good.
kids, they get divorced, they move, they get new jobs. And so the segue, Brooke, before you asked me this question, where I was going to take it was, Mel Robbins has a podcast, and my mom listens
Love
to it.
that woman.
I've listened to a couple episodes. But I think she's great from what I know about her. But she had a really powerful uh, episode talking about relationships, and she highlighted the let them theory. Brooke, have you heard this? Do you know about this?
Yes, yes, her book. She has a whole book on it.
Oh, there's a book too. Okay, I listened to the pod, so I got the Spark Notes, which is definitely my style. The guy wearing the football jersey and backwards hat. But so the let them theory is when you get into adulthood, essentially the basis of this book, it sounds like, and then her podcast episode is adult relationships are so dynamic. The hard thing is, as we grow up in school, in elementary school and middle school and high school, our life is the exact same. Everyone goes to the same classes. They then go to practice or dance or chess club or whatever. And then they go home and then they do it again. College is when we really start to sprout, and it's like a fork in the road. And we start to make our own decisions, different majors, different classes. Some of us work, some of us don't. Some of our parents pay for school. Our parents have no money. Um, and so, and then we get married and have to make decisions and work and have kids. And so essentially the gist of this let them theory is once you start to become an adult, let them. If you have amazing friend, like couple friends that you're best friends and you talk all the time, and then you kind of fade away, let them. Let them
Mm.
have space. Let them go through the relationship struggles. Be there for them, but let them do their piece. And I think there is a ton of people that struggle with that, Brooke. And they think that if I have a really great friend, they're going to be a great friend forever. We're going to be best friends. I'm going to be their best man or their maid of honor in their wedding. But that's not always the case. And especially when you meet friends as adults, it's even more dynamic and harder. And you just have to let them go through the different phases of life.
I love this so much because it really is like I what I heard with what you talked about in this beautiful story of becoming a parent and then this let them. It's we forget our priorities mixed with a we think that things are always going to be the same. Like we get complacent. In our
Yep.
mind, it's like, yep, this person, I love them so much. We're always going to be close. And then life happens and things change. And so we have to remember that the now, the present is literally all we have. Like I get so focused on, okay, I have all these tasks and all these things. And like, once I do all this stuff, then I'll be able to connect with all the people I love. Or, I don't even want to tell you how many unread text messages I have on my phone right now.
More
It's
than
bad.
50? Question mark? Is it more than 50? 100.
Yes. Wait.
500?
How many? No, no. No. Like, how many do you have on yours? I'm actually curious.
0.
0.
I'm
See, this is, oh,
maybe 10, but like I've read it. I just mark it as unread to go respond later, but like less than 10. I'm
I
pretty good about that.
literally, I have 103, I think.
Wow. How many of those are mine?
It's not good. Yeah. So, but this is a great example, right? Because you really are good at like, I wonder whoever's listening, what team are you on? Are you team Brooke that you have 103 messages, or do you get through your stuff? But it's real. It's not that I'm trying to avoid people or like not respond, but the priorities. And sometimes you forget this is the moment now. Like, this is all I have with you. We don't know how things are going to change in our lives. We don't know when our last days are on this earth, but we have the now. And it's the people that enrich it, not the things. It's not the tasks. It's not the job that's most important. Those things are important, but the priorities, like how do you remember that and keep that at the forefront of your mind when you get comfortable?
Can I tell you why I love to drink alcohol?
Okay. This episode is getting wild. Okay.
It's
Here we
getting
go.
wild.
Okay.
Brooke's keeping me up way late past bedtime. So there was this documentary called Neat. You haven't seen it for sure. Um, but so Neat, let me teach you some alcohol lingo. So when you
Okay.
order a drink on the rocks, it comes with ice. If you order like bourbon neat, what that means is bourbon in a glass, no rocks, no ice. Okay. So the documentary is called Neat. So there's this documentary and there's this guy who works at one of these famous bourbon companies in Kentucky. And he tells this story about, so essentially there was this really valuable bottle of bourbon that this guy had. He was given because he worked at the company for like 25 years. And he was with his dad and his brother. And essentially his dad, they never got together. And his dad said, "We're having a great time, we're drinking, like let's crack another bottle open." And the guy said, "I only have one bottle left, and it's this super valuable special bottle of bourbon. Is probably thousands of dollars. Like, let's not do it." And his dad said, "No, go get it, open it. You can always buy another bottle. You can't buy another moment." And look, I mean, you got to drink responsibly and all that stuff. But for me, I think it's so special to drink and create moments that and the next year his dad passed away, and then 2 years after that his brother passed away. And so
Oh,
this story was so special to him because he could have said no and like not drank that bottle and whatever. Look, you don't have to drink to appreciate the story, right? It's about
yeah.
creating moments that matter. And I think for some people, alcohol is part of that. For others, it's sports. For others, it's a really good cooked meal. For others, it's hiking, like whatever it is. But for me, that's really special when I have like my people together. We're sitting around a fire or something, just talking, telling a few lies, like having a few laughs and just
Oh
sipping
my
on something
gosh.
a little sweet. Like, let's go. I love that.
It reminds me of uh the difference in families, like, you hear about Thanksgiving, people get out their best china, right?
Yep.
And that's when they use it. And then there's been one family that I met that they'll get out their best stuff, like, for every meal, and it's like, we don't care if we break it, if somebody well, obviously, they probably care, it's not like they're throwing them around, but they're like, "Let's use in the moment, like, let's live, let's use the stuff that we have." So, yeah, I agree. I think, um, being able to check in with, "Am I using every moment to its fullest potential?" And, obviously, there's gonna be moments, like, I just think about the actual day in a life of a mompreneur, right? We wake up in the morning, depending on it's one of them is sleeps in or both of them are up at the crack of dawn, like, you don't really know what you're gonna get. We get our breakfast, we're gonna start homeschool, and along the way, there's stuff that goes on, there's moments, and I'm thinking about how Hayden's gonna kick my butt because I still haven't done the thing that I said I was gonna do, like, 3 months ago, and there's stress that comes up, and it just life hits you, but being able to slow down in those not every single moment is going to be perfect, or you're not gonna be thinking about this all the time, but I think the strategy that I realized in having this experience with my cousin was sitting down and saying, "Okay, let's do an inventory of my relationships, like, the groups." I put it into groups.
You
So, I
wrote this
thought
stuff
about
down?
yeah, it's
I
actually
can't
in my
wait to hear
book.
where I am.
It's actually in my book, like, it inspired me to put it in my divine blueprint, but
Okay.
so I wrote out all these categories. It was like family, right? Like, just internal family. So, my kids, um, you could look at your spouse, significant other, whatever. Then my immediate family, so it's be like my siblings, my parents. I thought about, extended family, so, like, my cousins, grandparents, all those kinda things. Broke those into groups. Then, friendships, like, what names came to mind of I had to break these into groups, like, specific times in my life where I've had different friendships, and then
Mhm.
specific people in those groups, and I thought about, work, like work experiences, and the people that I've worked with over the years and things like that, and just kinda categorized all of it. And then I asked myself, if I passed away and everybody like, all these groups show up at my funeral, what would they say about me? Like, what would their remembrance of me be? How I showed up in their life?
Hmm.
Like, and then I started it just really it quickly made me distill these things down. Like, what actually matters? Did I show up for them when they had a hard time? Did I even know that they were having a hard time? Did I and this gets really hard, so, like, beware people pleasers out there, right? You might go
Mhm.
through some of these groups, and it's not that necessarily you're trying to get everybody to say amazing things about you and, like, go to all these groups and be like, "Hey, I'm doing all of these things and living for other people," but it was a reality check of like, okay, for that group or that person, have I thought about it? Am I okay with how our relationship is? And if not, how do I want to change and show up in a better way? And that was eye-opening to me. It was very eye-opening to me and just helped
Give
me
us an
realize,
example, like, give us yeah, give us an example.
okay, um, so I have a friend who I met her my first day that I showed up in Wyoming to go play college soccer. And she is like my ride or die. And it doesn't matter how many years have passed by, like when I went through my divorce, literally she called me almost every day. And I don't even know how she knows how to show up like this. Like she'll just call and she'll be like, "You don't have to talk about anything, but I'm just here." Well, and she just knows how to show up. She has this gift. And I thought about how many years I didn't speak to her. Like I
Mm,
didn't even, and it wasn't like I was trying to ignore her. I was going through a lot of stuff. Like I felt I had isolated myself from lots of people in my life. Um, so I specifically thought of her, and I was like, if I showed up, I could give a speech on how incredible of a friend this woman is to me and how she showed up in my life, the kind of character that she had, like who she was. And then I reversed it and I was like, I have not done those things. That hurts. Like that hurts my heart. And it's sad to
yeah,
say because I want to see myself as a good friend. Like deep down, I believe that I am. And I have excuses for why, and maybe they're legitimate and maybe they're not. But her example helped me flip it and be like, I want to show up like her. I want to show up like her. And how could I do that in my way,
yeah.
in in little things? So that was kind of the process. I mean, it was different for every group, but it was eye-opening for me.
You gotta balance. You can't be there for everyone, and you
Yeah.
can't save everybody, and you can't have an amazing relationship with everybody. So I think it's
Yeah.
real to reflect and take inventory of your relationships and learn from people who are really good at it, but also give yourself some grace and let them. Like if people don't want to text you or call you, or if you're always the one that's initiating hangouts and they don't, if you want to spend time with them, keep doing it. If you don't and you want them to work for it, fine, don't. Like don't reach out to them anymore. Let them find space or whatever. And I just think I've had a couple cycles, Brooke, of friends here in Charlotte where everyone's married and they're going through having kids, and it's cycles where it's like we're hanging out a ton. Oh, kid. Oh, we don't see them anymore. Oh, we see them now, you know? And I just think that's a really powerful lesson. And I don't think there's a lot of content out there, especially for adults, especially for either single parents or, married parents, or, if you're just adults in general, how to navigate relationships. I think it's really hard. And I think I mean, going from imposter to empowered in work life and relationships, that's what we want to do. And I think the relationships piece is something that's going to be a huge highlight in season 2.
Yeah. So I think, Hayden, this is a great place to end because we've talked about, and I love that you give this juxtaposition of like, yes, you can't be everything for everyone. Thank you for calling me out. Very kind candor there. Uh, I think there is a balance and saying it's okay. I'm specific, but that you're intentionally choosing it, that you're aware of it. It's not just
Right.
like, oh, whatever, I don't have to think about it, but you've thought through the process and you're intentionally choosing where you invest your time, how you prioritize that, how you're building relationships. So here's an invitation. I'm asking you to do this, Hayden, too. But
Okay.
just sit for a minute.
Okay.
Just think about, from the time that you were a little kid, the earliest memories that you have up until now, somebody that you love that you maybe haven't talked to in a minute that's impacted your life. And reach out to them. Tell them thank you for how they've impacted you and why you're grateful that they're in your life and how they have blessed you. And see how uh, that connection, even if it's just a one-time thing, right? And you don't talk to them again for another year, how that one connection really enriches your life. Okay. So,
I love that. I have a homework too for you listeners. So Brooke shared homework for someone that maybe you haven't talked to in a while, someone who was big in your life, like tell them that you love them, right? Like send them a message, say thank you. My homework is going to be for someone that's in your life in like a more steady everyday fashion. My wife and I, every night, we kind of recognized after Aubrey was born that there's not as much quality time for us. So every night since she's been born, we literally have a shared note page in the notes app on iPhone. And before we go to bed every night, we literally type the date and then an A and then enter H, and we both say what we're grateful for.
I
And
love
that's it.
it.
It's simple, and we both say it out loud to each other in bed. We write it down. We did a similar exercise in COVID when we were stuck in our 700 square foot apartment and it was wartime to go get groceries. We made a gratitude wall because it was all negative and we thought everyone was going to die. And so we literally wrote things we were grateful for on Post-it notes and put them on a wall. We're doing that virtually or, on an app.
Hmm.
Every night. So it's like if you feel like you're in a rut with a relationship, whether it's a best friend, whether it's a sibling, a parent, a child, like whatever the relationship is, and you feel like, yeah, I feel like we're in a rut. I don't really feel like I'm grateful a ton. Think of the jar example, right? Like every experience is a marble that you put in a jar. Good experiences are yellow, bad experiences are black or whatever color. What does your jar look like? If it's a whole bunch of black and not a bunch of yellow, change that. And this is one way that you can, is literally like open up a notes page and every night practice what are you grateful for?
Mm.
So anyway, that's our invitation.
Looking for the
Um,
good.
looking for the good. Thanks for hanging with us, y'all. For now, Boomer Sooner. That's the pod.
We love you guys.